The city of Philadelphia is one of rich history and passion, and you can always count on the ladder when you step inside Lincoln Financial Field. Coming up, we've got a good matchup on tap between the Cleveland Browns and the Philadelphia Eagles. Here's the Philadelphia offensive unit now as they head out to take over possession. To throw at the outset, here's Hurts. Flush to his right, and he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game. How about the defense there trying to set the tone on the very first play of the game?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a glow here tonight because they brought the heat right out of the gate. What a good job establishing a tone for this one.
First carry for DeAndre Swift. And he'll take this up only to about his 18-yard line. They get 2 yards back, but they're going to need a lot more than that here on third down. Here's Hurts to throw. And they work this well upfield across the 45. How about that? They weather the storm of a 3rd and 17 to pick up the first.
That was an excellent read right there. Saw cover one. That means it's just a single high safety. So you know if you throw the ball to the outside part of the field, help is going to be a little bit late getting there. And he puts one out there for a big-time completion.
Play action. Here's Hurts. Looking here for Smith downfield. This is caught inside the 15. And he's going to be taken down right at the 10-yard line.
Brandon, we've both been around the game long enough that we know that in pregame, defenses are pretty amped up, aren't they? I mean, they're pounding lockers, and they can't wait to get out there. But when you hit them with some big pass plays early, it takes the starch right out of them.
On first down, Hurts. And they're going to get him. They bring him down to the sack back at the 16-yard line. Not the first and goal play they drew up. Multiple defenders in to bring him down to the ground. Charles, a little bit of feast or famine on this drive. They moved the ball okay, but they've been sacked twice now.
And they've got to figure out how to plug that leak a little bit, right? Keep them away from the quarterback because when he's not being hit, as you mentioned, they're moving the ball well.
Hurts going to keep it again. And despite the fancy footwork we saw, they'll get to him just inside the 15. Only a yard there on the keeper, and that's going to leave him with a 3rd down.
Typically on the read option play, when we talk about responsibilities, we're talking about what the quarterback has to go through. How about the inside linebacker, though? His job on this play, shadow the quarterback and hold him to a short gain. Did it to perfection.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And that is incomplete. But the pressure there on 3rd down, forcing the errant pass. 4th down coming up.
Well, it's been a tough go for them. These guys have been driving down the field. But defensively, once they got their backs to the goal line, turned up the pressure, that's going to lead to a 4th down. Well played.
So Hurts is off, and on comes Jake Elliott for the Eagle field goal. This a 31-yard attempt. The kick by Elliott is good. And the Eagles, they take a 3-0 lead. That was a long, sustained opening drive, but in the end, only able to get 3, the field goal out of it.
And absolutely, you'll take the points and the early lead. You never get those back. But there will be a little bit of disappointment that they didn't punch it in for 6 after that kind of yardage and that kind of drive that they had.
After the field goal, here's Elliott to kick it away. Taken in at the 3. And he'll get it up just past the 20 as his guys will go to work at the 21-yard line. Heading out as the Cleveland offense now as they get set to take over here. Watson and the Browns now with a 1st and 10 at their own 21. They start on the ground with Nick Chubb. And not a whole lot of room to operate there on the 1st down run. He gets maybe 3.
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly a win-win, but if you're on offense, you'll take that kind of a run, all right? It was kind of stacked up, found a little bit of yardage, and frankly, they're pretty close to staying on schedule on offense. The playbook is still open for the coordinator.
Second down, here's Chubb again. And he'll take it ahead to the 28-yard line. Watson on 3rd down. Oh, the ball is out. Watson lost it. And it's picked up by the Eagles. And he's into the end zone. It's a fumble return and an Eagle touchdown. So the defense forces the fumble. They get the score. And a guy on defense becoming offensive there, Charles.
And you know they love that. Any guy on defense loves to pick up the ball and have it in his hands and try and score himself. In this case, that's exactly what happened.
He'll be singing in the shower postgame. Elliott good on the extra point, and the lead grows to 10-0. So an early 10-0 lead for them now as they kick it away. Taken in at the 3. And he won't get this to the 20-yard line as he's down at the 19. Second drive coming up here for Cleveland as they return to the field on offense. They'll look to get something started. They need to, down 10-0 early as they've got it 1st and 10. Here's Watson. And there is Amari Cooper, his first catch. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. The catch and run, good for 24 yards.
Oh, that was a nice job there. Quarterback and receiver reading the pressure that was brought. They both knew it was going to open up the middle of the field. Nice little shake and bake at the line of scrimmage, got right into his route. And the quarterback hit him in stride, and he was able to run free after the catch.
Now Chubb running right. And this one not going anywhere. They get him at the 44 for a gain of just a yard.
Now that's a mountain of a man that just made that stop, isn't it? But he's more than that. This guy's nimble and quick. More than a space eater. He just made a great play there.
2nd and 9 from the 44. And again, it's Chubb. And they'll hold him to 3 there as he takes this up to the 47.
The big part of a middle linebacker's job is being able to take on blocks and then go make plays. But the best ones, they have those big guys in front of them playing defensive line that hold blockers off of them and allow them to flow sideline to sideline and make the big hits.
They are in need of 6 yards here if they hope to move the chains. That's complete. It's Elijah Moore. And he has another first down as they'll get the ball down to the Eagles' 43. And they get 10 yards there and convert on 3rd.
That's a pretty good throw on the curl route there. 3rd down, and they pick up a first.
Defense should be aware for that, right?
They should be aware, but it's so hard sometimes.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Because when they sell that route really well, you think they're going upfield, and they curl back, show their numbers to the quarterback, and complete the play.
And he'll be hauled down at about the 30-yard line. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Now they return to the ground game. Chubb to the 27-yard line.
Not a huge carry there on 1st down, but not all of them will be. But still, all in all, a positive play for the offense. It's all about picking up at least a few to set up what you're going to do here on 2nd down.
2nd and 7. Now it's Watson. That's going to be complete on the sideline, but, that throw left him no room to run, and the good footwork nearly all for naught. So give him 2 yards there on the completion, and now it's 3rd and 4.
Yeah, that one was covered pretty well because they were trying to leak the tight end out into the flat. I think they were hoping he could catch and turn upfield and pick up the 1st down.
This will be the 8th play of the drive here. 3rd and 4. Watson. Looking for Cooper. That's complete. And he will be brought down at about the 6-yard line. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
And this is an offense in need of getting a few good things to happen. Here's one right here. They've had their share of struggles in key moments, but that's a nice throw and nice work after the throw. And they're set up now with a 1st and goal.
Watson now to throw. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
The defender certainly didn't forget about him leaking out of the backfield. There's a guy ready and waiting to pick him up in coverage, and that throw had no shot.
They come up here with another shot from the 6-yard line, and it's 2nd and goal now. From the gun, it's a give to Chubb. And a little bit of space there, takes it inside the 5 to the 3. Give him right around 4 on the carry. We'll see if they want to keep pounding here on 3rd and goal.
And Brad, they went to a nickel defense, and that's a surprise this close to the goal line, because ordinarily you use the back end of the end zone, the sidelines as extra defenders, and you want bigger people on the field to try and help against the run.
Chubb again, and he's not going too far. In fact, stopped dead in his tracks at the 3. No gain on the play that time, so a big stop, and it's going to leave him with a 4th and goal. This is a long drive offensively. Wouldn't you hate to end this with just 3 points?
Doesn't it feel like during a ball game you have certain narratives going on, and there's certain drives that seem to take on just a bit more importance than others? This feels like one of those, doesn't it? To me, 3 points here, a major letdown. This is the time to go and put 6 on the board.
They stop him on 4th and goal at the 3. And this Eagle defense stands tall down near the goal line. On the ground, it's Swift to start the drive. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. 2nd down.
And that's frustrating for a defense because they've got them pinned down deep. And on the first play, they gave up a run that keeps an offense on schedule.
Yeah, because 3 to 4 yards, that's all you're looking for right there, right?
That's absolutely perfect, really, as a play call. You get 3 to 4 yards on 1st down. That's what they talk about to us all the time, about being ahead of the chains or on target, ahead of schedule. They were after that run.
And able to get it across the 10 to the 15. A gain of 10 as they look to add on to this 10-point lead.
A lot of tight ends just use their size and their strength, try to occupy some space and kind of body people away and catch the football. But not this guy. He's a refined route runner. Makes me wonder if he took some dance classes in his background with his footwork.
Hurts. And nowhere to fit that football in. It's knocked away and incomplete.
And that's a nice job there because you've got to play the ball, not the man when in coverage. That'll keep you away from a lot of needless penalties, and he's able to knock that one away.
An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. They run out of the gun with Swift. And from the 15, they're able to work this up to the 20 for a pickup of a handful.
Brandon, all things considered, they have to feel pretty good about getting that type of a gain, considering the blitz that they just had against them.
And for the Browns, a nickel set here on third down. Hurts. Oh, this will be incomplete. The rush gets home just as he was letting that go. That could have been worse. Instead, it's fourth down.
I think he had to unload that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you?
Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it wasn't a fumble, really. So they're forced to punt on fourth as this one's away. And now a fair catch called for and taken just outside the 40-yard line. It'll wind up just a 35-yard punt, no return. And they will take over first and 10. Watson and the Browns now with a first and 10 at the 41-yard line. He'll start things off with a handoff to Chubb. Yeah, boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain. And now timeout is whistled as it appears there's a Brown shaken up on the play. So as the medical staff takes a look, we'll step aside. Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, second and 10. Here's Watson. That's to the right side and complete to Njoku. They get 6. That'll leave them with third and 4. 10-0 the score after 1 on EA Sports. The start of the second quarter, and it's the Browns in control of the football as they've got it with a third down coming up. Back to throw. Watson. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
Obviously searching for their first touchdown this game, partner, and that quick 3 and out, that's not going to achieve that at all. Give victory to the secondary there. They brought out tight coverage on that third down snap.
On fourth down on is Corey Bojorquez to punt. Back deep for Philadelphia, Devontae Smith. He'll get off a fairly short kick here as this is toward the sideline. The Eagles just about set to go to work on offense. These guys definitely hoping for a better showing than their last appearance. They couldn't really even move the football much beyond the shadows of their own goalpost, Charles. We'll see if they can get a better, more sustained drive going here.
Yeah, and every team that we ever talk to says the exact same thing. When you start a drive from that deep in your own territory, the goal is a minimum of at least 2 first downs, because even if you have to punt then, you change the field position, right? You flip the field a little bit. They didn't get that done. This time they want to string together a nice drive and help themselves out.
And give him 4 yards there. It'll be second and 6.
Nice chunk of yards on first down. It really opens up your options for what you want to do on second. You go right back to him and hope he explodes, or sucker the defense in before throwing over the top.
Right back to Swift again on second down. Found a little room there as he's up to about the 37. It's a 5-yard gain, but they'll still be a yard short here with third down now looming.
Not a ton of room available on that one, but he made use of what space was available and gained decent yardage.
The Eagles on third down, just 1 for 3 thus far. They need just a yard here. It's third and 1. They'll try and run here with Swift. And he will have first down yardage as he's brought down at the 41. 4 yards on the pickup, good enough to extend the drive.
Well, partner, none of these runs individually have added up to a whole lot.
Now 3 plays, all 3 short runs, but together a first down.
Yeah, it's amazing how the narrative changes when you string them together.
On first and 10, it's Hurts. Looking right side, and that's complete to Watkins. So apparently some grabbing of the jersey there on the O-line.
Yeah, just looking the interior, and that's where the penalty occurred.
They're backed up here with a 1st and 20 now after the holding penalty. From the gun, it's Hurts. He'll find Swift out of the backfield. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. So the completion results there in 9 yards. And that's going to bring up second down.
It's funny, throughout the time that we've been together, when we talk with running backs about the ability to catch the ball, their eyes light up when they talk about open field and having one-on-one matchups, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And that's the reason why. What we just saw, shedding those tackles, and that's what they're used to doing.
It is, and it starts at the beginning of the play. One-on-one matchup if someone's trying to cover them, but they also like those one-on-ones downfield after the catch when they're running with the ball. They think they're going to win those too. Not only did we just see back-to-back nice gains, but we're also seeing the confidence rise, not just for the guy who caught it, but the guy throwing it as well.
And these back-to-back catches here out of the backfield, that can set something up downfield in a later sequence, right?
A lot of the time, it starts to draw the defense closer to the line of scrimmage. So to your point, show this swing pass, show this check down. Maybe later on, you heave one deep and you catch them close to the spot.
Yeah, and on third down, you know those pass rushers, they're in the starter's block. They're just waiting for the pistol to fire. You can almost hear the defensive coaches on the sideline pre-snap. Watch the screen, watch the screen. Really good job there of identifying it and making the play to force fourth down.
On is the punt team now as this one's sent away. And this will hit just beyond the goal line as it's into the end zone for a touchback. Cleveland offense making their way out. And still no points on the scoreboard. You're coming off of the 3 and out. They're just looking for anything to grab onto right now, aren't they?
I'm wondering if someone's going to take charge in the huddle. You know, we always look to the quarterback, but sometimes it's another player on the team, a star, a veteran, someone with some excitement and energy. It's like, all right, guys, let's shake things up and let's go, because they still have an opportunity to make things happen.
Shake it off. Incomplete, but a penalty flag is down in the backfield. Let's get the call. Ready to take over again on offense. Out comes Cleveland. The crowd may be losing just a little bit of the edge after back-to-back punts.
They want some big plays. They want to see some offense. They want to see somebody break away, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Now it'll be interesting to see where the patience is on both sides. Each head coach, can you hang in there and not try and force something that could put your team in some jeopardy?
Call it a gain of 12, but of course not a first down due to the previous penalty.
Barney sold the go route really well. Thought he was going deep, then curled it back inside for a nice completion.
DBs love when they pump the brakes, don't they?
Yeah, that's really a whole lot of fun. It's almost like you said, listen, if you're going to sell the go, just go, and let's see who's faster.
From the 22, Watson. He's going to drop this one down for Chubb. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down.
We often talk about understanding the playbook, understanding progressions, and understanding what the defense is doing. We saw all of that on that play. Great recognition and understood where his running back was going to be. Found a way to have him leak out underneath, hit him with the football, and they picked up the first down.
Watson's throw taken in by Cooper here. So the completion good for just 3. And that'll bring up second down. They give the Chubb out of the gun. And he's going to have a Browns first down as the tackle made it about the 43-yard line.
Even though they gave up more than they wanted to on that play, it actually illustrates how well they bottled them up throughout the game, because that was his longest run of this contest.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. They run it again with Chubb. And give him about 5 as he gets this up to the 48-yard line.
Nice satisfying run on first down for the offense, picking up 5, which means defensively, the thought process is entirely different. You don't want to panic, but at the same time, you're saying to each other, we've got to tighten this down. We can't give up gains like that.
From just shy of midfield, Watson. Looking right sideline, but it's incomplete. The tight end, David Njoku, the intended receiver, and it's 3rd and 5. Not sure what happened out there, but it looked like the timing was a little off on that throw.
Well, you know how I'm a defender, so what am I going to say?
Great defense.
Darn right. They did something to disrupt that timing.
Play number 7 now coming up on the drive. 3rd and 5. Back to throw, Watson. He's got his tight end, David Njoku. And he is going to have a Browns first down. They needed 5 there on 3rd down. He winds up getting 7.
And the tight end is certainly a position built to move the chains because they can control space underneath. If they've got good hands, then, of course, they're a dynamic target. But one other thing is they're right in the sight lines of a quarterback on just about every play. And that makes it easier for the quarterback to pick him out and deliver.
And to the 36-yard line, taken down there after getting 8 yards.
Let's just break this down and make it pretty simple. Key to the drag route, letting the play develop, finding the hole in the defense, and giving your athlete, yes, athlete, a chance to make something happen once he has the ball in his hands.
Watson, off play action. Dancing to his left. And this one incomplete. Threw it down at the feet of his receiver.
As defensive coordinators around the league tell me all the time, that throw is not for every quarterback because you've really got to drive the ball downfield. It's going to be a tight window for him to fit that one into. In this case, unsuccessfully.
After the incompletion, here now, 3rd and 2. To throw is Watson. Forced out to his left. And he can't find anywhere to go with it. And he goes down. Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game.
Okay, was it a breakdown in protection? Did the running back not pick him up? What does it really matter? Sometimes it's just a great play made by the defense. Big-time sack.
On 4th down, on is Corey Bajorquez to punt. And well done here. That one will kick out of bounds at about the 8-yard line.
Let's go old school there. That's absolutely a great coffin corner punt. Someone's put some time in working on that, hasn't it?
Seems like every year these guys get better and better. It's amazing how they can command that football through the air.
Yeah, they used to actually practice with hula hoops where they place them and try and put them there. Now a lot of guys use barrels on the sidelines to try and put the football in one.
Off the play fake, here's Hurts. Open man is Goddard, the tight end. And he'll be out of bounds right around the 14. They'll go down as a gain of 6, and that'll make it 2nd down.
There's a completion to the tight end, and I think that we're looking at something out of central casting, frankly.
Absolutely.
I mean,
size, the hands.
Speed, I mean, can flat out run. You put that whole package together, you light up the eyes of an offensive coordinator, don't you?
Hurts throw there, taken in by Smith. Hurts finding Smith for the Philly first. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing playing against a good quarterback like he is to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front. Defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
Consecutive catches for him. That good for 11. From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. They'll throw on 1st down with Hurts. He's got Dallas Goedert, his tight end, over the middle. That'll go for a gain of 7, and it's 2nd down.
When you execute a drag or a crossing route really well and give them a chance to let it develop a little bit, you can gain some significant yardage hitting your tight end on that one.
From the 39, Hurts. They'll try and set up the screen to Swift. And he's able to get this one out closer to midfield across the 45. That one a 1st down pickup of 8.
And this pass rush has really been bringing the heat and has already gotten home a few times here in the first half. So how about the play call there? Sometimes if you can't protect, you've got to fool them. Screen passes like that can take a little steam out of what's been a relentless rush so far.
Here's Hurts to throw. Sliding out of the pocket. He'll get 3 yards on the scramble there at second down.
Brandon, once that one broke down, there were only so many options left for him to take. Fortunately, only first down, so he smartly got the yardage he could get and didn't worry about trying to turn it into a bigger play and end up taking a bigger loss. Here, they hope they can regroup and get something different going here on second down.
And this shot downfield on second down is brought in. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Quez Watkins, 50 yards. And the Eagles will extend their lead in the final minute of the half.
That score that they just gave up there, that's a tough one for their defense to swallow because they've had a tough time through the first 2 quarters. They really were determined to get a stop there. Unable to do so, that makes their comeback hopes that much more difficult.
Elliott good with a PAT, and that makes our score 17-0. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. And this will be a touchback as Grant opts not to return it. The Browns now going to take over late in this first half. Charles, you're down multiple scores, less than a minute left here, but with that deficit, they've got to try to at least work their way into field goal range to try to muster something out of this drive.
And I'm going to go ahead and date myself one more time because I'm going to quote an old Smokey and the Bandit lyric. They've got a long way to go and a short time to get there, but they still have time to get it done. So I'm looking forward to watching them mount this drive and see if they can get some points out of it.
Now the Browns will use the first of their 3 timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the first half. The Browns now going to take over late in this first half. And with a little under a minute remaining, they may try to put something together here just to try to cut into that deficit. They'll come up now 2nd and 4 from the 31. Now Watson. Escaping and he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. Now another timeout called for by the offense as the clock stops here with 46 seconds remaining in the first half. So 7 yards from the first down here as they come up to the line of scrimmage. Throwing on 3rd down, Watson. That's out to Chubb, complete. And he's going to be stopped here a few yards short of the first as the tackle is made at the 33. Here's Corey Bojorquez now to punt this one away. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. Here's Smith to return it. Now a hit and a loose football. And his guys will take over at the 30-yard line. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Here's Watson. A short gain here, maybe a yard to the 29. Now a timeout signaled for, and they'll get it with 10 seconds to go before halftime. So on second down, the field goal unit is on here as they try to get 3 before half. From the right hash, it's a 46-yard attempt. York able to send this one through. And they're on the board at least here. It's now 17-3. Well, still trailing here, but they do get the late field goal. Now their defense will try to keep this score right where it is heading into the locker room.
Yeah, and trailing it to break, you obviously don't want to go in off of a negative play. Give them credit for that one. Finding a way to put points on the board, give them any type of a spark, anything to build off of as they try and plan a comeback.
You know what we need, baby. Gotta have it, baby. Gotta have it. Y'all got time. Let's go.
So 6 seconds, all that remains of this first half as the kick is away. Devontae Smith now from his end zone. And they'll get him down right around the 25, actually the 26 officially, so a net gain of 1 there. Well, the Eagles going to get one final possession in this first half. And from this spot in the field with the clock where it's at, you think we're just going to see a knee and that's it?
And I think in this situation, that's the proper play. But we do know there's some risk takers out there that may want to take one more shot before the clock runs out.
The final second ticks by, and that's going to do it for the first half of play. So we've come to halftime here in Philly with the Eagles on top. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman ready with our EA Sports halftime report. Coach. Here's the Browns offense now getting set to start off this third quarter. Charles, it'll be interesting to see what adjustments this offense made in the locker room. Haven't really been able to get anything going offensively, virtually nothing in the ground attack either. So certainly something has to change here in quarter 3.
And I'm pretty sure their friends from the defensive side of the ball told them exactly that, because those guys, the stop troops, they've been playing pretty well, and they've kept them around in this game. Now, they've got some time. The running game struggled in the first half. Opposition knows how to focus on defending the pass here. They've got to re-energize that ground game and maybe open things up for a comeback here in this half.
From the 25 on second down, Watson. This is the tight end, Njoku. His 5th catch tonight, and it's good for a first down.
I know exactly what's going to be said about that play from the defensive perspective.
What's that?
That's why I tell all you guys we need more than one tackler to the ball. He broke the first tackle. Luckily enough, there were more people there to get him down.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. That pass complete to Moore. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. The Browns passing game finding its stride. They've got another first down. To the air yet again, Watson. And he'll go right back to Moore, complete again. And they'll get this down to around the 47-yard line.
In so many ways, throwing the hitch route is actually one of the safer things an offense can do. Get the ball out to the receiver as fast as possible, hope he's got man-to-man coverage, and hope that his athleticism wins on the perimeter.
They go with Chubb on second down. And he'll get this down only to about the 46. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Up the middle, it's Chubb. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. That'll move the sticks for the Browns, a gain of 12.
First downs have not come easy, and neither have runs like this throughout this game.
Absolutely not. He finally felt like, whoa, a sigh of relief. We got something going in the running game. Still in search of their first touchdown of the game, but they're on the move. 1st and 10. They go up the middle with Chubb. Tackle there by big Jordan Davis.
Not too many offenses want to turn down long drives, but when you're down what they are, they've got to pay it off with some points.
Snap will come from the 31 on 2nd and 7. Now it's Watson. And he gets it to his running back, Nick Chubb. And he has another first down as they'll get the ball down to the Eagles' 15-yard line. It's a pickup of 16 there, and it'll lead to a new set of downs. I don't know what they talked about at halftime. Whatever it was, it worked. They looked like a different team here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, I doubt that there were very many trash cans that got kicked over, that type of a speech. I think what they did was they analyzed what worked in the first half, what didn't, and figured out a better game plan.
And he's able to break out of one tackle, but then quickly brought down. Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8. But not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
Second down, here's Chubb again. And he's going to work this one down to about the 5. 58 yards rushing for him now in the ball game. So a decent deficit at this stage in the second half. 4-down territory?
No doubt about it. There's not a chance that he hasn't looked ahead and said, okay, if we gain yardage on this play, this is what we'll do going forward. If we lose yardage, this is the play call that I'll have ready.
Watson to throw on 3rd and 1. Steps away to his under pressure. Down he goes. Sacked at the 10. Call it a loss of 4 there on the sack. And speaking of the number 4, it brings up 4th down now. 3rd and 1. They opt to pass it, and the one thing happened that could not happen. They took a sack.
Yeah, I just wonder, is that an indictment of their offensive line? Did they think that they couldn't move them enough to pick up a first down there? Or was it analytics? Did they think about it that way? In any event, they'll be studying that in the future.
So a good drive there to begin quarter number 3, but they're only able to shave 3 points off the lead.
Well, something's better than nothing, all right? They didn't play particularly well in the first half, but they definitely need them to step on the accelerator now and play a whole lot better.
The Browns kicking team out there now as they'll send this one away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. So here are the Eagles now as they get set for their first possession of the second half. Hurts and the Eagles come up here 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. They'll try and start this drive in the air. He's going to look deep for Watkins. And this is incomplete. Oh, it looked like he had a pretty good line on that one. That would have been a big play, but he could not pull it in.
The offense schemed going 5 wide, trying to create a chance for the big shot, and they took it. If he comes down with that one, that's a huge offensive swing. But credit the defense with a nice play, knocking that one away.
On second down, Swift. He'll be dropped after a gain of about 6 across the 30 to the 31.
Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
In search of 4 yards here to pick up the first down. Hurts. And he's got his man. It's the tight end, Goddard. And he is going to have an Eagles first down as he'll be marked down a yard or two past the marker following a gain of 6.
Such a tough position to defend near the line, even when you add a second defender. But the big man shrugged off the extra body and made the play call a success.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Throwing is Hurts. Eluding the pressure right. He'll get this one complete. That's A.J. Brown. And they're able to work this across midfield to the 48.
And now we get into the psychology of the whole thing, because a lot of teams with a 2-score lead in the third quarter, they almost become defensive with their offense, just playing not to lose. I think with this team, you got to figure at this point, this is a great spot for them to go into attack mode, really try and put the hammer down and finish this one off.
On 1st and 10, it's Swift. Knifes his way forward here, but just 3 yards on the play. 2nd down.
Vision is so important for the man in the middle, because his ability to look through all the clutter that's happening in front of him, diagnose a play, and then go make it and finish it, that's when the great ones know that they have the goods.
On 2nd and 7, Hurts. He finds his tight end, Goddard. That's complete. And he'll be brought down inside the 40-yard line.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion and would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication, and as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. 45 yards on the ground for him now on 9 carries.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive, because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense gets a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard. First down, and they go with Swift again. Gets around him, and he's down inside the 5 at the 4 before he's out of bounds. That good for 22 and a first down.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here, because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time and making it work.
Swift. Give him 2 yards on that one. 2nd and goal now.
All of a sudden, those lanes that were there earlier in the drive dry up near the goal line. That's a good job defensively to diagnose the run and stop it for a very short pickup.
From the 2 now, 2nd and goal. They'll run with Swift. And he's in for an Eagles touchdown. DeAndre Swift taking it in from 2 yards out as his guys are able to push that lead out a bit further.
That drive that really increased their cushion felt very military to me. Very precise, methodical, that's one of the words you've taught me. And they just got it done.
And slowly but surely now starting to pull away a little bit. Things looking good for them here in the third quarter.
Not only pulling away, but you mentioned that slowly but surely. You also drain clock, too, with a drive like that. So you really give yourself an advantage.
The touchdown. Here's Elliott on to kick it away. Fields it right around the goal line. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point in this game, Charles. If they're going to try to pull off an impressive comeback, it has to start right here, right now.
Yeah, now they've got a final chance to get out of this situation, but they also understand They've got to move the ball and move it fast. In addition, they need to save as much time so they can get 2 more possessions.
And he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. Past the 20. And all the way in. Touchdown, Cleveland. Nick Chubb, 78 yards. And the Browns are able to make some inroads here to that deficit. Boy, I got to say, I don't know how he made it all the way to the end zone without going down. What a run.
Absolutely incredible that was, because defensively you're taught to break down, wrap up. But in this case, he didn't really allow it, and really no one was able to slow him down enough for the extra help to get there. He just kept getting out of tackles all the way downfield and found the end zone.
Let's go. Let's go right here. Let's go. Make plays, y'all. Make plays. Let's smart, baby. Let's do this, man. That's right. Let's go, fellas. Let's go. Come on, let's go. Let's dominate this. It's all I do. It's all I got. Let's go. Let's go.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And not willing to risk another fumble. He'll sit on this one. It's a touchback. Philadelphia getting set to take the field. Their lead down to 2 scores after the touchdown a moment ago as they start with a 1st and 10. From the gun, it's Hurts. He'll get this off to Swift. And he'll be upended at the 28-yard line. Just a 3-yard gain there. Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28. Hurts sets up to throw it. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Brown. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Hurts connecting there with Brown for the Eagles first.
That's another beautiful throw right there. Gets it to his man right in stride. And I think that throw kind of exemplifies what we've seen from this offense throughout this game. They've been in rhythm. They've been sharp. They've been on it. And they pick up another 1st down there.
On 1st and 10, it's Hurts. This short throw caught by Goddard. Give him a gain of 5 on the completion, and it's 2nd down.
And let's face it, you can put any Halloween costume on him. You're not going to be able to disguise him, because for a tight end of his size, difficult to sneak him anywhere, but that's what they tried to do. Lined up on his right, tried to work his way back to his left, but just a minimal gain as the defense was able to react quickly.
3 quarters have come and gone. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. And welcome back. We are in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. It's the Eagles in possession of the football and leading this one as we get ready to start the final quarter. And they're going to have another 1st down as he's going to be tackled at the Browns' 43. 11 yards for number 11.
These guys are running offense like you drive. The pedal is down, stomp down. How about that? Back-to-back completions. They are rolling.
So much for being conservative and running that football. So a 1st and 10 upcoming from Browns territory now at the 43. Here's a handoff to Swift running left. And he finds a little bit of room, enough for 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where there'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
From the 38, Hurts. Oh, he'll want that one back. Incomplete. He doesn't drop too many in that department. 3rd down.
I see the surprise in your face there, partner. That is a rare incompletion from him. He's been on point this entire game.
He has percentage completion-wise way up. Not that time. 7th play of the drive upcoming here on 3rd and 6. looking to throw. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. And a pretty nice tackle there, ranging up from his free safety spot as he'll stop him about a yard short. A short gain there of just 4, and that'll bring up a 4th down.
Boy, that one was well read defensively, and this is all about diagnosis as a safety and being decisive because he saw it setting up in front of him, able to knife through there and make the play.
The kick by Elliott is good, and that will extend their lead even further.
So that maybe not a knockout blow, but I suppose certainly every little bit helps when you're trying to salt one away in the 4th.
Well, the possibility of being beaten by 2 late touchdowns or at least sent to overtime does exist, but time, definitely a big factor at this stage of the game, is in their favor.
After the field goal, here's Elliott to kick it away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback.
The Browns set to take over. Well, partner, coaches always say that every play is designed to score a touchdown. Sometimes that's not really true, but last drive, that was the case. One play to get into the end zone, and now they'll try to duplicate that success here.
And it's rare for those moments to happen. Incredible when they do. And you saw the celebration. Pure, unbridled joy after that one.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete. I guess they're in a situation now, 4th quarter, where they're forced to take some chances, but I don't know that that was the type of a chance you want to take.
And that one could very easily have been intercepted. And if it does get picked off, that could possibly seal this one.
To throw once more on 2nd and 10. Watson.
Well, they approached this drive with a lot of confidence after the last one ended up as a touchdown. But incompletions on their first 2 throws has them huddling up and trying to figure out a big play here on 3rd down to get their momentum going again.
The offense on 3rd down tonight, they're right at about the league average, 40%, 4 for 10. This is 3rd and 10. Here's Watson. They set up the screen to Chubb. And a good job defensively. They stop him short of the first at the 32. They do get 7 out of that, but not enough to prevent a 4th down. You got the big lead defensively. Willing to give them that underneath stuff, right?
And this is why you work on your tackling. Tackle them after the catch, inbounds, keep the clock running. Just go ahead and bleed the game out that way.
On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. They call that a punt of 38 yards officially. And it will be Eagles football, 1st and 10. Here's the Philadelphia offensive unit now as they head out to take over possession. Well, there are 2 scores on the plus side. Still time here in this 4th quarter, but maybe you start thinking about playing keep away?
Yeah, I think here's the situation. You're not thinking touchdowns anymore. You're just thinking 1st downs. To keep up with your theme there, playing keep away, 1st downs, they can't touch the ball.
They take a shot downfield there, but it winds up falling incomplete.
As a coaching staff, you can call just about whatever you want because you understand you have guys who reliably take away those massive shots downfield. You're not as worried about giving up the big one.
So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. Now they'll throw here out of the gun.
Oh, and Hurts is going to be hit and taken down to the ground.
In for the sack, Myles Garrett. Well, it was 2nd long. Now it's 3rd and even longer. They're going in the wrong direction here.
Because they're moving them exactly the way they want to, but you're exactly right. Definitely going in the wrong direction for the offensive guys.
So after that sack, Hurts and the Eagles, tough spot here, 3rd and long.
Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. Under pressure, they got him again. Myles Garrett, 2 plays in a row now that he has gotten in there for the sack, and it brings up 4th down.
This is a little hard for me to compute because I'm watching sack after sack happen, but somehow they're still behind in the game. I would expect all of this defensive pressure to translate to them taking a lead, and thus far, it hasn't happened. Time's winding down. They don't want to waste this type of performance from these ace pass rushers.
Returnable for Grant. They'll call it a punt of 44 yards. The return was for 7. And the Browns will take over 1st and 10. Heading out is the Cleveland offense now as they get set to take over here. Their defense was able to force the punt. That's the good news. But this is still a 2-score game, and they need points on this drive and in a relatively quick manner. On 1st and 10, Watson. And he slides and covers up at the end as he's going to be able to pick up decent yardage. Nice work to get 7 out of that, and it's 2nd down.
You know what I like about that play? He didn't try to do too much on 1st down. He took what the defense gave him, put together a solid gain to bring up 2nd and manageable. Now they have a couple of plays to pick up just a few yards and a new set of downs.
And Chubb will try the middle here. And some pretty strong running there as he'll take this across the 50 and down to the 44. 149 yards rushing for him now as his big night continues. He continues to have a big night here under the lights carrying the football.
And some guys prefer night games. For whatever reason, their bodies react a certain way. They love the spotlight. Maybe that's what it is. The best seats in the house, the ones where he's carrying the football for his offensive teammates. The worst seats, the 11 guys trying to tackle him on defense.
Back-to-back nice plays, 12 yards that time and a 1st down.
Well, they certainly had success throughout this contest getting him the ball in the passing game, and there he picks up another 1st down. Whatever they saw going into this one, they've been able to capitalize on it, and no adjustment has been made to take it away.
On 1st down, Watson. He's got the connection to Moore. And they're going to move it down to inside the 25. Only needing 2 yards on 2nd down. They'll try the draw now with Chubb. They got 2 of the 3 they needed there. It leaves them with 3rd and just a yard.
And he continues to pile up the yardage. That puts him over $150 now. And this defense has really had its problems trying to keep him contained.
They'll run for it. Here's Chubb. This defense not budging. Back-to-back carries of just 2 yards. That time they're able to bottle him up, but he's having a really nice game.
I agree with that. Let's just go big picture, right? Every back that's in the Hall of Fame had carries where they didn't gain yardage or they lost yardage, but you stick with them, don't you? When they're having a good game, keep feeding them.
Running for it. Here's Chubb. And this will depend on the mark. I'm not sure he pushed the line forward. And indeed, he did not. They stop him. Nick Chubb stops short. And the Eagles defense able to hold. Hurts and the Eagles come up here 1st and 10 at their own 22. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. They'll try and set up the screen to Swift. And he'll wind up losing yardage here back at the 21-yard line. He was unable to shake free there, and they'll cover him for a loss of a yard.
Well, Brandon, we could see that play developing, and they were hoping that he was going to be able to put a move on the first guy and turn it into a big play. But no such luck. The speed on defense continues to get better and better in the NFL. Pretty nice example there of those guys being able to run from their assignments and finish off that play.
And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. The 4th quarter here, they've got the lead. They want to keep it on the ground. That's what they're doing.
Smart football. Keep the clock grinding. Keep it going. But you got to figure now, they're going to see more people stacked up at the line of scrimmage as they try and bleed it out.
And they'll run the option on 3rd and short yardage. And getting this just shy of midfield, they'll spot it at the 49. A good chunk on the ground, and the keeper 17 yards, first down.
All right, I don't want to get too poetic here where they talk about, the eyes being the windows of the soul. You know what else the eyes do? They see the open spaces on a field, and those eyes carry your legs to those spots, and that's what happened on that play. He saw an opening and went and got it.
Well, he really hasn't ran the ball all game. Fourth quarter here, need a big play, able to pick it up. So whatever the eyes saw and created, it worked. And he's going to take this across the 50 into Browns territory.
Second and 5. Once again, it's Swift.
And he'll be brought down, it looks like right at the 40. And quickly, we're going to get another stop here with 1:54 left as they call the timeout defensively.
Swift going to try up the middle.
And he'll manage to pick up about 4. It's second down. Now a timeout called for by the defense as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming second down play. They'll go option to the short side. The Browns will quickly use their third and final timeout as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. This will be the 8th play of the drive here. 3rd and 4.
They will run straight ahead with Swift.
And he's able to get the first here as he's taken down at the 25.
110 yards for him on the ground now on 18 carries.
Well, that's a carry they have to be satisfied with. And throughout this game, they've been satisfied with what he's given them. Whenever they've needed a big run, a first down, he's the guy they've turned to. And it doesn't matter what the defense thinks. They feel like they've got the confidence to keep handing it to him and keep picking up good yardage.
Hurts down to one knee, and that should just about do it.
Listen, anytime you take a knee to end a game, that means you've won it. So it doesn't matter whether it's home or on the road, but there's something a little extra special about doing it in front of your home crowd, isn't there?
And the home crowd applauding. They're happy with what they've seen. Chalk this one up in the left-hand column for a win.
Yeah, that's right. Head to the locker room, throw the wristbands in the crowd for the kids, your gloves, your towels. Get to share it with the home team.
So it's a victory here for the Philadelphia Eagles. And they were spurred on by a strong performance in that fourth quarter as they held their opponents off the scoreboard.
Everyone wants to pitch a shutout for the entire game, but when you throw one in the fourth quarter, that tells everyone that you're getting stronger and dominance is starting to take over, right? The way that you close, the way that you finish, that gets preached to you from the time you're playing Little League football all the way up through. And they closed them out with a big-time performance down the stretch.